The XF205 and its partner model, the XF200, are Canon's latest small chip professional HD camcorders. Basically, they have the latest and greatest in terms of all major features on these cameras. We'll start with the lens, that it is now a 20x f1.8 to 2.8. It is actually starting at 26.8 millimeter, go up to 576 for a very, very long zoom range. It makes it ideal for almost all normal ENG assignments. This lens also has a dynamic image stabilization function, which combines the optical stabilization with the electronic stabilization on the sensor so that you're able to get a much stronger effect, especially when you're shooting at the wide angle side for walking and talking type shots. In addition, we have 3 control rings on the lens, so you have a complete manual independent control of focus, zoom, and iris, which is very, very useful. There's also a new grip on the side of the camera that can be rotated up to 120 degrees, and that makes the camera a lot easier to position for high and low angle shots. On the actual image quality side, one of the important things on this camera is that we've upgraded to the XF codec compared to last year's XA25, which was AVC HD. So now you have broadcast ready 50 megabits per second 422 color sampling, recording to dual CF cards. And in addition, we can simultaneously record MP4 video to an SD card at up to 1080 60p, and that is at 35 megabits per second. When we come to actually getting that image out of the camcorder, we have a couple of different options. On the 205 model, we have the full set of jacks, the 3G SDI to support the 1080 60p, the HD SDI, Genlock, and timecode. On the 200 model and also the 205, there's HDMI out. But then on both, you also have the dual band Wi-Fi. Now the dual band Wi-Fi is kind of a dual function because in addition to being able to FTP the images out, you also have browser remote control in. So any smartphone or tablet, you'll be able to see a live preview image and all the camera controls, and be able to make your adjustments if the camera is set in a position where it might be otherwise inaccessible. So when we look at this camera overall, there's several other features to note. 4-channel audio now instead of 2-channel, which gives you much more control over all your audio sources. You also have IR built in, which allows you to shoot even in complete darkness at ranges up to 50 feet. And you have all the other features that you would expect in a professional camera, such as zebras and peaking for your exposure and focus assist.
Technical stuff, it's a half-inch chip, correct?
It's actually a little bit smaller than that. It's 1/2.84, so it's slightly larger than a third. And the reason we made it that way is not to downsample it, but to actually provide enough room for the electronic stabilization to function.
Okay. The SDI output, is that 10 or 8-bit?
This is, well, it's actually an 8-bit, coming out of the camera. Of course, with the spec of the HD SDI, you could have whatever you want on the other end of it, but the actual data that's going to get in there is effectively either going to be the 8-bit 422 or 420, depending on which one you pick.
So we'll talk about the C100 autofocus a little bit later, but I was pretty impressed with some of the initial results from the autofocus in the C100. Is that something that the design of this autofocus, is that similar to the C100's technology? Or?
This is not. This is the contrast detection autofocus, but it turns out that actually in some ways this turns out to be a little bit better fit for this kind of a camera, only because you have such a small chip here with a lot of depth of field. The nice thing about this one is that unlike the C100, where the autofocus is limited to the center area, now you have autofocus over the entire picture. We expect that the XF205 and XF200 are going to be just about ideal for all kinds of electronic news gathering. It's also very useful for any kind of reportage, because you can hand a camera like this to a person who is not necessarily a professional cameraman and still get good results. It has the ability to be completely automatic in terms of exposure control and also in terms of focusing, which is very, very useful. And the image stabilization tends to solve a lot of problems in terms of getting a steady image. So really this camera is kind of a wide spectrum piece. It'll fit professional ENG, it'll also fit documentary work, and we anticipate that it'll be used for several other applications outside the news area. We're looking at this camera as being a really great step forward for people who want to get good quality in a small, lightweight package, about 3.7 pounds. Now this camera is going to be available in August. The XF205 will have a street price of $39.99, which is very competitive. The XF200 model for the single camera operators without the 3G SDI and so forth is a $34.99 price point to be even more affordable. So we hope that people will come to our website at usa.canon.com and take a look.